Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you seem to think you are. Let us all come into this moment now, remembering that the only time that is this moment now. Right now, there is nothing else. There is only now. So center in and let go of all petty thoughts, anything that's distracting you away from this moment now, and breathe and be. So we are here. And as you breathe, you are as well. So we'll go over a little bit of everything that we always go over. Recall this is a dream. You are the dreamer of the dream. You are not the body that you think you are, you see. The body that you perceive as you is not who you are, because it's not what you are. You are spirit, not a body. You are free as spirit. So in the dream, you thought you separated yourself from God. You threw over a veil upon your own mind and said, I'm hiding. I don't exist. I don't exist to anything but myself, you see. And that was quite scary, so you said, well, I've got to come up with something else. Oh, I know. That's when the ego came to be, you see. The ego stepped up, said, I can help you. I will show you how to hide even more. Let's look at the world together, project everything out that you think bothers you, or that you have fears about, or that you'd like to control. We'll project it out onto everything and anything so that you don't look within yourself, where your power is, you see. Because the moment you remember that the power of you, as God created you, is from within, there the power is, and the ego is no longer. That takes practice. Day in, day out, moment by moment. That's why we provide these teachings for you to practice with, you see, to retain in mind that you are not alone, that you are not separate, that this is a dream and it is not true. So, along the way, within this dream, as you are aware, it's become more and more chaotic, more and more distracting, anything to get you to unfocus your mind on truth and put it out onto everything that is false. And it looks so real. And we know that it feels so real. You have given over your mind to emotions. You said these are real. We want you to know that emotions are not real. See, emotions come from the thought system of the ego. The ego is not real. It's just part of the dream. It's part of your experience here, but is not who or what you really are. So, what does this ask for? It is a call for forgiveness. It is a call for acceptance and a call to make a different decision. Rather than going along with it or continuing to go along with it, you want to wake up. We know that you do, otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So, we are here to assist you in this goal of awakening. Part of that goal of awakening is not trying to make it happen, but just recognizing when you lose focus on truth and put it elsewhere, and reminding you that there is nowhere at all, meaning it's in your mind, and you can always change your mind. So when we say these things, we know the screen is very realistic. We know that the sensations that you seem to have seem very realistic, and that's what that's for. Ego says, how do we make this so convincing? Well, physical pain is a good way to do that. Not that that's, but you get it. The most alarming thing to get you to lose focus once again, or to distract yourself with. What does this call for? Once again, forgiveness, acceptance, and letting it go. So we can go on, and we will go on and on throughout this session, but there are a couple of questions.
The first question is from Michaela, who isn't here today, but Michaela asks, my son said when he dies, he can be with everyone he loves at the same time. How much does it really make sense to stay here? Some spiritual teachers say the world is here to awaken you, not to make you happy. Still, I've experienced love, peace, joy, and some very amazing things in my life. Another spiritual group states bad stuff happens because you are not placing enough positive expectation into your life. I realize this is a little mixed, but what would you say to my inquiry? Thank you, Jesus and Aaron.
Absolutely. So we'll start with first, yes, when you transition, you are with everyone throughout all time, though time does not exist, you see. There is no time, so how can you not be with the timeless, which is what you really are? So, in the next part,
Some spiritual teachers say the world is here to awaken you, not to make you happy.
yes. So we'll start with that. That is actually true. It's, well, in a way, the ego says that the world will make you happy. Okay, there are two thought systems involved in this. Remember, you are a mind and not a body. You are a spirit. But as a mind, you have two parts to your mind. That's how this split came to be. You have your right mind and your wrong mind. So your wrong mind says, absolutely, the world can make you happy. That's coming from your ego. In fact, the ego says this is all there is, and you better be happy in it. And also, it tells you that part of that happiness is pain. That's the ego. So, also, you can awaken. In fact, that's what you want to do. So you don't look at the world and say, I am waking up because I'm looking at the world. You're waking up because you're remembering that you are a mind, or you have a mind. And you start to practice teachings that guide you through this, meaning you are not mindless. And when you find that you're upset, it has nothing to do with the world, it has to do with the decision you made in mind. And from there, you can choose again. The world is not a beautiful place. Sometimes you do light on reflections of love, you see. Sometimes, but don't expect it, you see. Meaning, if you open your news application on your phone today, we are going to guarantee you there's going to be something that's going to piss you off or upset you, make you really fearful, freak out, and you won't see a lot of lovely things. But don't be surprised about that. You really have to come to that place where you have to get it. Every time I look at this, I'm going to see something that disturbs me because it's not true. Because the world is not true. And the world is not my home. This world is a classroom or a prison house, depending on how you look at it. You can say, I see that I can use this as a way to assist in awakening by becoming more aware and making different choices. Or I can say to hell with it all, this is hell. But that's a choice, you see. How you perceive it is your choice. What you do with it is your choice. Do you want to learn how to move through this dream without letting it get to you, so to speak? Or do you want to let it get to you and just continue to project all blame out? Does that make sense? So those are your choices. But the fact that you have choices is important. The fact that you have choices is something you should be glad about. And that's what we really want you to begin to value more. Yourself as a mind. I am not a victim of the world I see. I am a victim of my own decisions, my own choice to perceive in this way. But I know I have a different teacher I can listen to, and that is the Holy Spirit. So I'm going to look to him instead, rather than my fearful mind, which wants to keep dragging me deeper and deeper into hell. So really, it's important you start looking at your mind and appreciating it, even when you have feelings that don't feel good, even when you have experiences where you just had like a crummy day. That's good that you notice that because you can change your mind about it. You can choose differently. Does that make sense to everyone? Meaning you don't have to stay stuck in a low feeling. But the fact that you know that now is really wonderful. You are not beholden to the ego at all. So,
Thank you for that.
absolutely.
On another note, I asked Archangel Michael about my dog, Sammy Girl. He said that to humans, longevity equals spirituality, but not so to angels. Then he said, you will let her go when the pain really gets to you enough. Some people say, they could have lived longer. They did not need to die. But I wonder, did they want to stay longer? Is it disrespectful to make someone's death wrong?
Oh, let's see. First of all, think about this. Do you ever think about why is it that angels don't see the idea of longevity in a body as something to go for? You want to know why? Because there is no body in truth, and you are not it. Longevity in the dream is just an extension of the dream, whether it's good or bad to you, but it's still illusion, it's not real. Why do you want to keep it going at all? Which brings us to that other part about the animal. How do you know if it's too soon or not? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if the animal is in pain, we can pretty much guarantee you that it's not looking for longevity at that point. It's looking for relief and, in fact, release in that situation. You see, you want to be free. It wants to be free. It doesn't want to stick around. How much longer? Or how can we come together and make this pain just go on and on and on? That's not what the animal wants. You would know that if you were in that same situation. So there is a mistaken idea about life in the body. That's the confusion between form and content, meaning the mind, the ego, not the mind totally, but you're in your wrong mind, the ego mind. You believe that the body has life. It really doesn't. There is only mind, you see. The body is completely lifeless, if you think about it. So you can liken it to a lifeless piece of wood. Or if you think about puppets, when no puppeteer is around, they're pretty lifeless. They just lay on the ground until somebody picks it up and starts animating the body. You see? So it's not the body, but it's the mind. Does that make sense to everyone? So, really, who's to say that a life needs to go on and on and on? Remember this, you are not in charge of that. Okay? Of course, you want to take care of your animals and you want to take care of the body as best you can while you seem to be here. We're not saying don't pay attention to it. What we're saying is this is not who or what you really are. So don't take it seriously.
I saw some comments with, it was on a spiritual, something spiritual I was looking at on YouTube. And one of the person in the comments had mentioned they were practicing that. And even though his coworkers were telling him to get his head out of the sand and pay attention to what's going on in the world. So, I think he was trying to figure out, well, how do you
How do you do that?
balance that?
That's a
Yeah.
good question because that can lead you sometimes if you are in that way of or in that practice of good feeling stuff. It's great, but you also have to not be afraid of having those experiences that are contrasting to those good feelings you see. So that is an opportunity to grow. You don't want to shy away from it. Don't close the news app because you're afraid of seeing what it's going to say. Just tell yourself, I know that every time I look at this, it's going to have some really bad news, but I don't have to let that get to me. I don't have to let that ruin my day because I am right here in this moment, fine. You see, I have decided to have a good day. If I see something on the news that shakes me, I look at it instead as a good opportunity to let go of some attachments or beliefs that I have been holding on to. That's the only reason why you get distressed from things. Because in mind, you had a different scenario that you wanted to see, but the world isn't necessarily going to give you that right now. What you can do with that is begin to practice going within and letting go of those reactions that you allowed to be stirred up inside you. Does that make sense? So that's a releasing, a choice to let it go, a choice to forgive, because that actually is forgiveness.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a really good conversation because we know that there are many on the path of awakening who don't want to see what's going on in the world because they want to keep their mind on this path to awakening. But we're telling you, you've chosen to come into this dream, so to speak, just so you can grow. And if you hide away from those periods or points of growth, it's going to keep coming up for you in some way. So you let it go. You say, I'm not going to fear this. I've made a decision that I don't like it. See, that's a good point too. You've made a decision that you're not going to like it. So when you see it, you didn't like it. That's how powerful the mind is. Does that make sense to everyone? So that piece of news that you came across this morning online is not because that you got upset about, is not because of that piece of news at all. It's because you said, I always get upset when I see things like this. So you were presented with some things like this, and you got upset. But being a mind, you can change your mind, knowing that, well, it isn't this that's making me upset. I am making myself upset because I chose to be upset if I looked at something like that. Everything here is an illusion. And there is no hierarchy of illusion. Everything, you see, is illusion. So nothing is more or less important in form at all. Just remember, you are free by decision in mind. Does that make sense to everyone? Wonderful. Yes.
This next question is from Kathy. And Kathy asks, Dear Jesus, I am confused about not being the quote unquote doer and life being done for me, but yet still being 100% responsible for everything I experience in life. Is it the mind that is the doer and is 100% responsible? And my confusion comes from identifying as the body. Maybe everything would be much more clear when I learn to identify as the mind and come from that perspective. Also, is it the mind that is responsible for the body and how it seems to behave? I know in the Course you say all healing is in the mind. Thank you for helping me to clear up my confusion.
So yes, all healing is of mind because you are the mind. You are not a body. You are not the doer unless you choose to be the body. The body is the doer. You see, does that make sense?
Yes.
So the doing comes from the body. It is directed by the mind, but it is not the mind that is doing anything because the mind only is, you see. Or you could say it bees. It bees a mind. The body is always doing something.
Okay, I have that backwards.
A lot of people do. That's okay. It can be confusing.
Okay, that helps.
Wonderful. And there was another part of that question as well, where something we'd like to also edit. You had said something about that life would be lived for you. Was that it?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be lived for you. Okay. The real quote is step aside and allow healing to be done for you. See, the reason why healing has to be done for you, which is actually through you, okay? So spirit will heal through you, is because spirit does not bring all of the thought systems of the world into it to heal you. What it does is steps beyond the world because there is no world. And in one instant, you are healed.
Well,
So one experience that humans have is guilt. And that guilt is a big block to the awareness of healing because it says you can't be healed, you are guilty. Spirit says you are not guilty, there is no sin.
well, this helps to clear up my confusion about the doer and being 100% responsible.
Wonderful. You are responsible for the choices you make, we'll say that.
Okay.
You are responsible for how you feel emotionally or mentally because those are choices, you see.
Okay, I have another question that I put in the chat. Can I ask that now or not?
Absolutely.
Okay. It is about, hold on one second. When we stop being afraid of something, is that when we stop experiencing it in this world?
We would say yes, but the reason you stop experiencing it is not necessarily that you stop experiencing it totally, but you stop experiencing it in that way. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Meaning
yeah,
with fear. If the
right.
fear is gone, if you have the experience, it's just a non-issue.
Okay, I get it.
Wonderful. So you don't even notice it.
Yeah. Okay, so the fear makes it magnified in the world.
Absolutely. Makes it seem like something when it's nothing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Jesus.
You're very welcome. Yes.
And this next question is from Pamela. And Pamela asks, what happens to the spirits of those who commit suicide? I have known 6 people who have taken their lives. I always wonder what happens to them once the body dies. Are they rehabilitated in spirit in any way?
Actually, you could say that, yes. Well, the same way that you will wake up when the body dies, there is a wake up. And you go through a series of experiences gently that lead you back to the light that you are, lead you home, and tell you that you are innocent, that you are loved, and you've done nothing wrong, you see. And then, of course, the life review, where you're shown a series of everything that led up to your decision to choose to end the body's life, and how you could make a different choice. And not to get too much into that part, but you do get to experience everything, how that made everyone feel, how it would have been had you not done that, and so on. And then you make a different choice. But none of it is filled with guilt. That's the thing. None of it is filled with punishment. It is filled with love and compassion. It is filled with peace and healing.
Thank you. Yeah. It was always like I never, felt like they went to purgatory or anything like that. I was just wondering like if they're held in you know, their suffering was so great that they decided to take their lives to end their suffering. So I was just always wondering if they were held with a different kind of, I mean, I'm sure we're all held with compassion and understanding,
Absolutely.
but there's more tenderness towards these folks who decide to take their lives, or
It's all the same. There's no more or less to anyone. It's all the same love that's given. The only thing is you will experience it in the time that you've decided to let it in, you see. That is something that is common, that it might seem to take time to allow that love in after you made a decision to end the body's life. Does that make sense?
I think so.
And so you are saying there's some healing that goes on. That's part of the healing, and to the entity that believed it ended its life, it might believe that hell was waiting for it. So hell is what it will experience for a little bit of time until it starts to loosen up and let that thought go. Because we're telling you the light is just beaming at all souls, you see, no
Mhm.
matter what. But sometimes there are ones who hold on to that belief system so strongly that they actually build what seems like a fort around themselves. And we're saying, excuse us, but You're loved and you didn't do anything wrong. Wake up, you see. So we want you to know that any darkness you may perceive at the end of life is something you decided or chose. That's your mental state, you see. But the light is always coming through. The light has won because the light is all that is, you see. So it's a good idea to start getting yourself into that place of good mental state before you go. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if am I understanding you correctly that like so even in spirit you have a choice to allow that light?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
absolutely.
Mhm. And is there any way of knowing whether or not particular individuals have allowed that light in?
It's not up to you to know. The only thing that's up to you to know is that love is real
Mhm.
and no one is outside of that love in truth.
And do they, I mean, I imagine, do they choose to reincarnate again? Like, is that, or do they like,
A lot of them do
mhm,
because there's a lack of finality with ending the body's life prematurely, so to speak.
mhm,
It's like, oh, I see what I could have done.
mhm,
I want to go back and I'm going to choose differently.
okay. But that could take years before they decide to make before they make the decision to,
Sometimes not. It depends. And remember, there is no time in truth. Years to you, but not in spirit.
mm,
Eternity has nothing to do with time. It is timeless.
okay. Sort of like there's just everything happening all at once, like kind of a thing.
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
you're very welcome. Yes.
This next question is from Neil. And Neil asks, Dear Jesus, can it be said that we are responsible for our feelings so that if we are happy, we are making ourselves happy? And when we are angry, we are making ourselves angry? Also, when we find it difficult or impossible to forgive someone, does that affect our soul? Thank you so much.
So, yes, you're responsible for how you feel. We were saying that earlier. So, if you feel happy, yes, that's your responsibility. That's the choice you made to be happy, and same with angry. Meaning you can always choose again, well, I want to feel happy, so I will do the work to feel happy. I want to feel angry, I'll do the work to feel angry. Well, we don't know why you'd do that, but just saying.
Yeah.
But what was the other part again?
When we are angry, when we find it difficult or impossible.
Okay, here, the forgiveness. See, it feels difficult to forgive someone because that's not true forgiveness. You see, you don't forgive people, you don't forgive someone, you allow forgiveness to be expressed. Meaning you don't hold on to your beliefs about anyone. You let that go little by little. And remember, the true forgiveness is realizing that what you are upset about didn't actually happen in truth. You see.
Yes, I wonder, so I say my feelings, and you said feelings are fleeting and they're not the ultimate reality anyway.
Absolutely.
But we deal with them,
Yes.
and so I say, well, okay, so I know I'm responsible for how I feel, but you also said that we have so much help from those like you on the other side, the
Absolutely.
real world. So I mean, it's this dichotomy from what I'm doing for myself, and yet I'm accepting help from you folks.
Because you have to understand that it's not actually outside of you. That help is part of you.
Wow.
You are, and we are all one. You see. So there is no separation.
There's no separation. Yeah, that clarifies that, Jesus. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And, I wanted to relay a story. I got a message from my son, Johnny, last week. I was driving home from work and I drove past the church where we had the funeral service for John. And suddenly it came into my mind once again, I was thinking about that scripture passage where you asked, some of your disciples were saying, well, Jesus is a healer, or he's a prophet, or he's like, just another prophet. And then you looked at Peter and you said, and who do you say that I am? And Peter said, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Well, and then at that moment, I was thinking about that. And I had this impression from my son, Johnny, just down the road from the church. And I heard my son, Johnny, say to me, and what about you, Dad? Who do you say that I am? Do you say that I'm just dead and gone, never to be seen again, just vanished, poof, 1 minute in your living room and gone forever? Or do you say that I'm part of the living God too, that I'm with you, that I'm like part of the one and really still here? What do you think about that?
That's absolutely true. See, he's trying to get you to see the oneness. He's trying to teach you a lesson in the sameness that all have. You see, I am the Son of God. Well, if that's so, then you are too.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. And the funny thing was that when I got that impression from Johnny, I thought to myself, when I get home, I got to share that with my wife because she would be interested to hear that message from Johnny. And at that very moment, Jesus, and there's all snow around, at that very moment as I'm driving along, a big deer, a beautiful deer, just appeared out of nowhere and started galloping parallel to my car through the snow. He ran with me like right. I could. It was almost like if it wasn't so cold, I could reach out the window and almost touch him. And for like 100 or so feet, he just galloped right alongside of my car. And I was just watching this deer, like just past where the church was. And I'm thinking, I never saw a deer do that in my whole life, just run right alongside my car like that. And it was almost like another and I don't like that word manifestation, but it was another message. I said, wow, this was really interesting moment. So I thought that I would ask you about that. I mean, like you said before, that the spirits can come through animals and give us
Absolutely.
signs. I thought that was a wonderful moment.
It was. That was exactly what you were thinking.
Wow. I mean, do you have any like messages from your awareness of what my son's up to in the next life? I mean,
We can't say that
You can't say.
because there was only one life.
Oh. Wow, that's a little beyond me, Jesus, but I'm working on it.
That's okay. Absolutely. So there is only one life.
Only one life. Well, thank you, Jesus. I'll try to get more in touch with that one life by practicing. It's an ongoing continuum of practice, I think, right?
Absolutely. That one life is with God.
And no fear can enter into that life.
Exactly.
I mean, and if it does, you can just let it go.
That's absolutely true.
I recall a wonderful saying in the chorus, and where I believe you said, it is often said that, the phrase is often said that, I'll believe this when I see it. But in truth, you'll see it when you believe it.
Absolutely.
It's
That's
the opposite.
right.
And so when you believe something, you'll see it.
You'll see it.
Well, I believe in you, Jesus, and I believe in my son Johnny and all the other beautiful saints and angels. I believe, and I want to keep seeing you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And don't forget, you're also one with that.
Oh,
Include yourself in that.
wow. That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
Hi, this next question is from Camille. And Camille asks, can you help me with the feelings that have come up surrounding my 97-year-old mother? Old feelings are coming up of not being loved, etc. In the meantime, my siblings are trying to take care of her as best we can, but I just feel like crying.
So, are you feeling like crying because of those old feelings of being unloved? Well, it's okay. We'll just say this. Those feelings of feeling that you are unloved are feelings that are false and come from the ego mind that tells you you have to be loved by someone. Love is within you and what you are. And when you really embrace that, that's all you will know, you see. Did you hear what was said?
She's nodding. Yes.
Okay. So you want to, if you are having an issue with taking care of your mother, don't see yourself as the one who feels unloved, you see, but see yourself as the whole being that has nothing to do with the role that the mother played, you see, or that you played in her experience at all. You can be love as it is, just simply, without bringing in past or thoughts of future. Just in the now, there is only love. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you want to work on that feeling or the allowing of that feeling, which means you release all other feelings that come into your experience. Those are the old feelings. The new feelings are love. So,
Thank you,
yes,
Camille.
indeed. Yes.
This next question is from Leah. Leah says, is forgiveness simply forgiving my misperception?
Yes, it is. That's 100% true. Your misperception or misperceptions anywhere. So, but yes, it is forgiving the mind its misperceptions. That's forgiving yourself the choice to misperceive.
So that means that anytime there's a question of forgiveness, it really only has to do with my own choice of
Yes,
how I think.
absolutely.
Hmm.
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that keeps it pretty simple.
That's right.
It doesn't make it complicated.
Exactly, and it's supposed to be simple, so
Yeah,
it's totally simple.
I don't have to make any value judgments or anything.
That's absolutely right. Thank God.
Yeah, really.
So just stay light about it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's a good practice to do. And I just know that every time you choose to lighten up, you're choosing forgiveness.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I like that lighten up thing. I really like that a lot.
Beautiful.
That's very helpful for me. And I'm starting to remember it more, which is encouraging.
Wonderful.
And it feels good.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
So you want to keep doing it.
I sure do.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we are at the end of this session today, and it has been a wonderful session. We are with all of you all the time, no matter what, even though you might not think that that's so, but that's okay. That's just the illusion. We are with you always. We love you always. And thank you always. Namaste.